We can't always choose how we feel or what arises in us, but we can choose what we focus on. Today, what are you going to focus on? Gratitude, happiness, strength, loyalty, focus, confidence. Will you choose to focus on what you have rather than what you don't have? Will you choose to focus on what you are rather than what you aren't? Will you choose to focus on the positive rather than the negative? Today, you get to choose. What are you going to focus on? It's very easy and natural for us to want something different. If I could just go back to the past, or if it could finally just get to this already. If I could have something that I want, or get rid of something that I have. Or if he could just be someone he's not, or if she could just be not who she is. For years, we just wanted to get older. And now, if we could only be young again. It's okay to have those reactions. Honor wherever you are and however you feel. But let go of that and instead choose to focus on what you are grateful for, or what you are happy about, or what you are feeling confident about. Choose how you want to see the situation. We can't always choose how we feel or what arises in us, but we can choose what we focus on. Today, what are you going to focus on? Hey guys, it's Jen. It's my birthday week. So this is my special birthday episode. I'm recording this on Friday, and my birthday is this Sunday on Easter, April 9th. I'm turning 47, but I really have no desire to get stuck on that point. I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not sad about it. I just don't want to get stuck on it because I love my birthday because it makes me feel special. And who doesn't like to feel special? But I truly dislike the focus on a number. It's probably one of a handful of days throughout the entire year that I even consider what my age is. To be totally honest, I am never quite sure how old I am. Years blend together and I really have no concept of time. So whenever I have to figure out my age, I always need to do, the quick math. Okay, so I was born in 76 and Okay, so I'm turning 47. I don't have a negative reaction to 47. I just really have no reaction. The number 47 means absolutely nothing to me. The number 46 didn't mean anything to me, and I'm guessing the number 48 won't. Turning 40 didn't impact me at all, and so I'm guessing that 50 won't either. I will say 41. I do remember when I was 41 at first thinking like, wow, I guess I'm in my 40s now for like 3 days. And then I forgot about it all over again. I'd say that I don't feel 47, but to be honest, I don't really know what 47 is supposed to feel like. I mean, I can't say that I feel 37 or 27 either because I just really pretty much feel the same as I always have. My life is just different now, and I've had different experiences to draw from. I know that there are, quote unquote, young people who act and feel what you would call quote unquote old, and older people who act and feel young. I know that personally, I have no doubt that I will remain healthy and active and vibrant. I will always stay up to date on music and fashion and language and pop culture. I will always try new things. I will most likely never act or talk or dress or look my age. It doesn't mean, though, that I'm trying to be young because younger ages had no meaning to me either. I'm not the kind of person who ever says, oh, I'm getting old or we're getting old. Yes, I'll be older than I was in the past, but I'm younger than I'll be in the future. So am I supposed to feel something different because my numerical age is different? Because instead, I like to focus on how I feel, like to focus on what I'm doing, what I'm accomplishing. I choose to focus on the context of my life. I believe that, yes, some people do choose to age, but really, It's that they choose to focus on age and focus on aging, the aches and the pains and the wrinkles and the grays. They focus on the inevitability of it. But people of all different ages have aches and pains and wrinkles and grays. Instead, I just choose to focus on the context that I'm living my life in. Sure, the number is there, and I will be reminded of that on my special day, but I choose to instead focus on it being my special day, where the people I love the most and like the 990 whatever of my closest Facebook friends, where they'll all celebrate me. And I get to celebrate another year of happiness and success and look ahead and be grateful that I've even been given the possibility of another year. Because regardless of the number, that's something that isn't guaranteed to people of any age. So that's what we're going to have a conversation about today on this week of my birth episode: aging and our contextual age. More practically and importantly, how can we use this to feel and be ageless at any age? That's what I do strive for. Ageless, not young. Just like old has its issues, young has its own issues too. So I choose ageless. The topic, I guess, is technically more of a just for me topic than a parenting teens family comm topic, but it's my birthday, so I think I'm going to let myself make an exception. Okay, so I first learned of this area of communication research way back in graduate school because two of my professors, Alan and Becky Rubin, were the seminal researchers on the topic of contextual age. And considering that after I turned 21, and once you get to all like the milestones, there's really no difference as far as I'm concerned in numbers and age. So even at the age of, what would that have been? So that was 2002. So like 26, even at 26, I had already lost interest in the number that I was. So I was fascinated by this. Now I often jokingly say that I identify as being 32. I mean, 32 is as good a number as any, right? And if you think of it logically, 32, old enough to be a real live grown up and be taken somewhat seriously, but not so old that people started acting like you were getting old. It's funny when I think about it because 32 is the other age that I do remember noting when I was it. But that was totally because remember in When Harry Met Sally, Meg Ryan was like, she was crying and she's like, and now I'm going to be 40. And he's like, yeah, in 8 years. And she said, well, it's just looming out there on the horizon. So I do remember 32, but that's because of When Harry Met Sally. Anyway, that's probably why I'm stuck on it. So I know that I am definitely not alone in this identifying or feeling like a certain age. There is the, 20-year-old who feels like she's 30, the 60-year-old who looks like she's 40, the 40-year-old who acts like she's 60. And of course, there's always those 80-year-olds who no one would guess is a day over 60. That'll be me. Chronological age is merely the length of time that has passed since your birth. It only concerns the external, purely physiological aspects of life in general. We often feel that we are a different age. Sometimes we feel older, and more often we feel younger. So age identity, it refers to the labels that we often place upon ourselves to reflect like our self-perceptions in terms of age. This is going to include belonging or wanting to belong to an identifiable reference group, like in social categorization terms. Like think about people, how we tend to disassociate ourselves from the category of old, or people try to disassociate elderly. And now we tend to go with it like generational terms like boomer or Gen X or millennial. It's really interesting because the frequency of identifying ourselves with our generational grouping is a fairly new phenomenon. Think about it. 20 years ago, when I initially did research on aging, that was definitely not a way that we classified ourselves. Anyway, so because chronological age is such a poor predictor of age and of the actual aging process, researchers have developed a lot of alternative non-chronological age measures. So, first, there's your biological age. Biological age is the one that refers to how old your cells and your tissues are. So, it's based more on physiological evidence. If you are especially healthy and fit, your biological age is probably lower than your chronological age. But if you're sedentary, out of shape, chronically ill, your biological age may actually be higher than your chronological age. Research shows that your biological age is actually a better predictor of death and of disease than your chronological age is. You can go online even and take quizzes that ask you questions about like diet and exercise and happiness and stress. They're like health related questions. Disclaimer, I have absolutely no idea how accurate any of these biological age quizzes are, but I will tell you the one I did said that my biological age is 37. So see, I'm actually closer to that 32 than I am to 47. Another measure is our social age. Social age is your age in terms of social roles. So, like how mature you are in terms of your interpersonal skills and how able you are to behave and like to meet the societal expectations of you compared to others of the same age. Social age is really more of a measure for children. So like if you looked at your kids and you're like, wow, she is really mature for her age, that type of thing. All right, now perceived age is another one that's not necessarily something that is relevant, like social age, to our age group, our demographic. Perceived age is just that, how old others would perceive you to be. So, yes, how old you look. All right, just like social age is more for children, perceived age research is more focused on those over 70, like 70 in chronological years. And research shows that it is actually a strong predictor of survival in those over 70. So, like your parents, right? How do your parents look for their age? Like my parents are 80 and 76, right? Thankfully, they both look really good for 80 and for 76. And perceived age correlates to important functional and molecular aging factors. And so those who look younger than their chronological age, who are perceived to be younger than their chronological age, over 70, that's a better predictor of survival for them than those who look older than their age. All right, so last is another one that really does relate to us. Last is subjective age, or how old a person feels. Subjective age is often used as a measure that includes other things, such as like your cognitive age, what you think your ideal age or your desired age is. So apparently that's 32 for me. What do you perceive as being old age? How long do you think you'll live? Those types of things. So subjective age is more the age that a person feels rather than the actual number of chronological years lived. It's your interpretation of aging. But subjective age does still include that chronological passage of time. In graduate school, because I was interested in contextual age, and one of the doctors, Alan, was my advisor. And so I did aging research on contextual age and even presented at a conference. I used measures of subjective age that asked people to rank themselves in terms of the age groups, like young, middle-aged, old, very old, as well as like comparative age scales that ask them to rate themselves like in comparison to their chronological age. Those things like, do you feel older than, the same as, or younger than your chronological age? And your feel age measures asks them to ask how you feel on the inside. For cognitive age, you measure by averaging how someone looks, like how old they look, in what age group their interests and activities fit best, and stereotype how well items describe you in comparison to an old or to a middle-aged person. So subjective age is kind of simply that relationship between you and the age group that you feel an affinity with. Infinity, like the infinity stone. Yes, the age group that you feel an affinity with. So, like, yes, I'm Gen X, and I totally relate to the pop culture factors of Gen X, but really, I feel like I identify more as a millennial behavior wise and not one of those elder millennials, which really is a gross term. Who named them elder millennials? That's just awful. But like a younger Gen Z adjacent millennial, which really, I barely qualify as an elder millennial adjacent. So I definitely don't identify as a Gen Z adjacent millennial. Anyway, subjective age is a more important factor, though, than chronological age for determining physical and psychological well being. Again, I'm not alone in this, right? This feeling that I am more of a Gen Z adjacent millennial, okay? I'm not alone. Research shows that less than 45% of adults over 18 feel the same subjective age as their chronological age. Okay, so 55% of us, we all think that we're not the age that we actually are. From 18 to 29-year-old adults, they tend to feel older than their chronological age. And those over 50 feel younger than their chronological age. Research does show that people in their 30s have the greatest variability in their subjective age. So, like, they're most likely to report feeling either both older than their subjective age and younger than their subjective ages, which is interesting to me, right? Because really, when you think about it, though, this period of life, like when you're in your 30s, this period of life has the most variety as far as the life changes and the life stages that we talked about back when we talked about those life stages. Like some are married, some are single, some have kids that are already a little bit older, some are settled in their careers, others haven't even established their careers yet. So there's a lot of variety in the 30s. And so that's probably why subjective age has such a large range. Overall, teens feel older than their chronological age. So our kids, they all feel like they're older than they actually are. Young adults, though, they tend to feel their chronological age. They're the most group that tends to feel the same as they actually are. Older adults typically have a subjective age that's younger than their chronological age. Although personally, I also choose to disassociate myself from this term because I think it's gross sounding. It is referred to as the denial of aging. Ew, I mean, I'm not really denying that I'm aging. I'm simply rejecting your stupid societal constructs of aging. This age discrepancy, though, as it's also called, is pretty common. It's the difference between your chronological age and your subjective age. And this difference tends to get bigger with age. Research shows that on average, relative to their actual age, people feel 8 years younger than they actually are and believe that others think they are 7 years younger than they actually are. So by this, I guess that would mean that I would feel 39 and people would think I'm 40, I guess. Anyway, the more interesting thing is that if you think about it, this implies that we believe that others look at us and think we are the age that we feel inside, rather than looking at us and thinking that we are our actual chronological age, which is interesting. Anyway, the doctors Rubin, who are now in their mid to late 70s. And so, goodness, I never really thought about it. Okay, so this research was done in 1982. So they would have been like in their 30s then. Wow. I wonder what their views on this are now. I should totally reach out to them and ask. Anyway, the doctors Rubin believed that chronological age was totally an insufficient indicator of human development and of the aging process. Instead, age only offers a suggestion of life position. And by relying on chronological age, we overlook important individual variations in how we choose to live our lives and our basic life position. Yes, chronological age is used because it is a convenient measure of time. But what if we actually use the factors that mattered, like individual situations, our different abilities to cope with life's changes, our communication, our social, psychological, health, and economic attributes? By putting an emphasis on our chronological age, we're not representing the age that someone feels or how they perceive their own aging process at all. Because the actual process of aging isn't just the days and the years that have passed. It's also related to many individualized factors, such as our psychological temperament, our lifestyle, our heredity, how secure we feel, the quality, quantity, and type of interpersonal relationships in our lives, our social activity, life satisfaction, mobility, health, economic security. This is why the Rubens proposed the concept of a life position construct that they called our contextual age, to include these various communication, social, physical, and psychological dimensions. Because really, these contextual factors affect how old or young a person really is more than chronological age alone. Aging is a complex process that is impacted by many more factors than simply how many trips around the sun you've survived. And people of the same chronological age have very differing life factors and experiences that have affected their aging process. Just think about it when you see people from high school on Facebook. It's like, there is no way that we are the same age. I'm sorry, but no. Just like everything, the contextual age scale has been updated over time, but overall, the concept still includes physical health, nutrition, exercise, stress, interpersonal interaction, social support, mobility, life satisfaction, social activity, and economic security. In my own contextual age study years ago, I was able to predict how about 2/3 of people felt about their age. If they felt like they were younger than, the same, or as older than their chronological age. Interestingly, my strongest predictors were through health, nutrition, and activity factors. Things like feeling in top physical condition, eating well-balanced diets, participating in sports games or activities with others, which that one can also go into the other strong predictor area of social activity with the statement, I have many opportunities for conversations with others, and I often go out, as being strong predictors. The very strongest predictor of being able to place someone into what age category they were is a basic, I usually feel healthy, that made people feel younger than they actually are. So people who I said and responded positively to, I usually feel healthy, they were most likely to feel younger than they actually are, as opposed to those who rated differently and lower on the I usually feel healthy measure. They tended to either feel the same age or older than they actually were. So now I think we have clearly established why the number 47 means absolutely nothing to me. What can we do with all of this information? Well, I have compiled all of this for you into 10 keys to feeling ageless at any age. To me, feeling ageless isn't about being young. I don't want to be 26. I feel better and happier and more confident than I was at 23 or at 29 or at 31. Being ageless is about having confidence in how you look, feeling your absolute best, being successful, having good relationships, and being happy. The very main key to staying ageless is to live a healthy lifestyle. But this is a huge one, both in importance and in content. I could probably break this down into its own list because there are so many facets, but for our list here, we're going to break it down into two: what you put into your body and what you do with your body. All right, so the first key: put healthy things into your body and keep unhealthy things out. Eat healthy, a balanced diet, lots of fruits and vegetables and protein. Full disclosure here, I'm a vegetarian, so I know it's easier for me to say this, but it is true. Take it easy on meat. Take it easy on processed foods. Not saying go away, all in moderation, all in balance. No one wants to turn you into an almond mom, but realize that those things do need to be minimized. I'm sorry, but they do. Take supplements, vitamins, collagen. Oh my goodness, take collagen. I put so much collagen in my coffee. I eat collagen chews. Take supplements, take vitamins, have collagen. Olive oil. Remember, if you don't know about olive oil, go back to my Just For Me on olive oil for like a whole hot take on the values of olive oil. Drink water. Lots of water. So much water. You know the big trendy Stanleys? Get one. Fill it. Drink it. Refill it. And while we're on drinking, alcohol. I'm sorry, it's just not good to put in your body. I know, but if you are trying to stay ageless, you really need to be sober, or as I consider myself these days, sober adjacent. Yes, I'll have a glass of wine or so if I'm out. I'm not against alcohol. I was definitely a wine mom at one point, and as did many of us, I too coped with the pandemic with wine. But the reality is, it's not good for aging. And then, of course, the obvious ones, no smoking, vaping, drugs, that kind of thing. All right. So second key, what you do with your body. Okay. So yes, it's super important what we put into our bodies. And it's also super important what we do with our bodies. Physical movement is so important. Exercise. And when you exercise, make sure that you diversify your exercise. Use a 3-prong approach: cardio, strength training, and stretching. And mix things up even within those groups. So like for your cardio component, walk, run, cycle, dance, hike, box, whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. But keep moving. Keep that cardio movement up. Keep your body guessing and keep your mind in shape by switching up your workouts. For the second part, do strength training. So lift weights. Start wherever you are in your fitness journey weight-wise, of course, but don't be afraid of weights. Don't be afraid of lifting heavy weights. I feel like back in the day, we were taught that lifting heavy weight was like for bodybuilders. Like it built big muscles, and we don't want big, bulky muscles. Well, guess what? It does build muscle, but we need that. We start to lose muscle as our body moves through age and time, right? So we need to build muscle, but you really need a lot of factors to line up to build big, bulky muscles. Okay. And if you have teenagers, especially teenage boys who are trying to build muscle like I do, you know that it requires a lot of exercise and dietary things and supplements and everything to get those big bulky muscles. So it's not going to happen unless your genes and your diet and your strength routine are lined up just right. You're just going to build muscle. And that is exactly what we need to keep our bodies ageless, fit, and strong. And then for the third one, stretch, do yoga, do Pilates, stay flexible. J.H. Pilates, the creator of Pilates, said, "You're only as young as your spine is flexible." And that is a really, really accurate concept that I think of every time I do a back bend. All right, the third key, let's wrap up this body section of the list with what you put on your body. There's the obvious ones, of course. Sunscreen, yes, sunscreen totally. Moisturizer, eye cream, retinol. Opt for natural ingredients whenever you can. But let's not stop here. And yes, I know I just said opt for natural ingredients, and now I'm about to say a very contradictory, unnatural statement. I get it. But y'all know I am a work in progress. I do my best, but I'm imperfect. Anyway, I do think that, yes, try to remain natural with the ingredients you put on your body, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But I also think a good portion of staying ageless is in your appearance, whether it's through self-perception or through how you think others perceive you. If you perceive your appearance as old or you think others do, that is going to age you. So don't let yourself go. No, it doesn't mean you need to get Botox or fillers or whatever. Although if you do feel you need that, girl, you do you. We should all have zero judgment about other people's choices. It doesn't even mean that you can't embrace your grays. I mean, I know that's the thing now. Personally, I cannot ever see myself doing that. But again, if that's you, I totally support you 100%. Being ageless is partly feeling confident in your appearance. If you look in the mirror and you see an old person, you're going to be an old person. If you look in the mirror and you see beauty, then you're ageless. Obviously, beauty is a totally subjective construct. And if you need lashes or makeup or highlights or nails, or if you don't, just don't let yourself go. What do you wear? The clothes that you put on your body impact how you perceive your age and how others do. Again, when you look in the mirror at what you are wearing, if you feel beautiful, then girl, you are ageless. But if you look and see old and frumpy, it is time for you to shop because that is how you will let yourself get old. Is there a shelf life on clothing? Nope. Is there a shelf life on style of clothing? 100%. Does it look like something you remember your grandma wearing? Donate that shit stat. And I would right now like to remove the sentence, I am too old from that, from your lexicon. Really, this should never be uttered unless you're talking about toxic behavior. You are never too old for something if you feel good in it. When I look at some clothes, yes, I do think, I wish I had somewhere to wear that. And yes, by proxy, that probably may relate back to age and not having the experiences that deserve a particular outfit. But I never think I'm too old for that. If I like it, I wear it. Number 4, don't get stuck. This kind of relates back to the clothes thing a little bit too. Embrace what's new. When I said almond mom earlier, did you know what I meant? Stay current. Music, TV, celebrity gossip, technology, clothes, hair, makeup. Scroll TikTok. Look at influencers. You don't want to find yourself with an outdated hairdo, wondering who celebrities are while you continue to only listen to pre-1998 music. Yes, 90s music was the best, the peak, in my opinion. But just like we said about with food, keep it in moderation. When you start getting stuck in anything, whether it's a hairdo or technology or ideas, you're aging. You have to always have yourself in your mind open to new ideas, new trends, new concepts. Number 5, that kind of goes along with having our minds open. Challenge your brain and yourself. Read books, listen to podcasts, do puzzles, learn something new, learn a language, a new skill. Learning something new will challenge your brain. Continue to do these things as ways to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Try new things. And when you try new things, don't be afraid to fail. Don't take yourself too seriously. Just enjoy it. Continue to challenge yourself every day to accomplish new things, and that will help keep you ageless. Number 6, continue setting goals and manifesting success. The first thing you need to do here is establish what your definition of success is, because that's another subjective term. We all have different ideas of what we deem to be success. For some people, it relates to, money or careers. Other ways, we have other ideals of success. But you need to establish what your definition of success is and continue to set goals to help you get there. Never stop doing this. Yes, the obvious angle to this is career-oriented, and I am a firm believer in always evolving along your career path. Personally, I know that just like I will never be able to embrace my grays, I know I'll never retire. But if it's not career-wise, we can make it more generalized. How do you define success? Manifest that success and work towards it. But the most important part to maintaining this ageless concept we're talking about is that you keep setting new goals all of the time. When you stop having something to move towards, you stop growing. When you stop growing, you know what happens, right? And it's just the opposite of what we are going for here. And number 7, do things that make you happy. Make your happiness a top priority. In all of those measures that we talked about, a key factor that stayed pretty consistent throughout, life satisfaction, happiness in your life. So yes, life satisfaction is a key factor in staying ageless. Doing things that make you happy. Letting yourself be happy. Choosing relationships that make you happy. Make happiness your top priority. Number 8, reduce stress and anxiety. Part of this is being financially secure. And I understand that that's not a choice that really you get to make. But a part of it is being financially secure. But that's only a portion of it. Overall, reduce your stress and anxiety. Keep life as uncomplicated as possible. Remove any drama or toxicity. Be mindful, okay? So when you do things, be mindful. This is what we continue to talk about overall. Meditate. Bring attention to the present moment. Whether you're walking or eating or having a conversation or watching TV, be mindful and present while you're doing it. We all tend to be such multitaskers, right? We've all become so proud of our multitasking abilities. But unfortunately, that multitasking often keeps us away from being mindful. All right. So when we're watching TV, watch the TV. We don't need to be scrolling on our phones. Watch the TV. It's really hard. It's so hard at this point to do that. When you're eating, pay attention to what you're eating. Don't just eat without thinking about it. Mindful walks, meditation walks. Walk and pay attention to your surroundings. What do we like to do when we walk? We usually listen to something, right? Unless it's, of course, this podcast, and that's the only time you get to listen to it. I don't want you to give that up, for heaven's sakes. But mindful walks, meditative walks. When you're having a conversation with a friend or with your spouse or with your kids, when you're having a conversation, be present and pay attention in that conversation. Yoga, even though, yes, it's physical, what you do with your body, but yoga fits in here too. Not just what we do with our body, but yoga is a way to really be connected to the present moment. It builds us up to manage what we encounter off the mat as well, and this being mindful in a situation. Number 9, build and foster quality social relationships. It will help with our happiness, that life satisfaction. It will also keep you active, and it will create people who you can count on. We need a strong social support system. There's no magic number of people and no perfect ratio of friends to family or family to friends or whatever. But regardless of if it's a couple few people or it's a whole group of people, you need people that you can turn to. That will help us with that strain, that stress and anxiety part, and that will help to keep us ageless. And number 10 goes along with that. Keep communicating with family, with friends, go places, do things, find organic ways to interact with people, foster relationships, create a connection with something bigger than yourself. Maybe it's a church or a spiritual community. Maybe it's volunteering at a dog rescue. Maybe it's being a mentor to someone. But people who focus only on themselves and on their own needs are more likely to age. By participating in something bigger than us, it brings meaning and purpose to our lives. So, thanks to the scholarly research on contextual age and subjective age, biological age, age identity, and all of the aging research out there, we can remain ageless. So, happy day of my birth to all of you. The number is neither good nor bad. I have zero emotions attached to the number, but I do have a lot of emotions attached to the day. We can't always choose how we feel or what arises in us, but we can choose what we focus on. Today, what are you going to focus on? This birthday, I am going to focus on being ageless. I intend to spend this weekend with the people I love the most and reflecting on the last year and all of the progress I have made towards manifesting my dreams. Dreams that, to be honest, had yet to be completely clarified to me just a year ago. All of the progress that I've made to make the most out of my life and be my favorite version of me. I plan to do some manifesting of where I'm headed from here. As always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening today and in the past and continuing into this next year of my life. If you'd like to celebrate my special day with me, I would love that. First, I give you permission to have your favorite treats guilt-free on me. I personally will be having a steady diet of Starbucks, acai bowls, and some version of peanut butter Oreo ice cream on repeat because those are 3 of my very favorite things. Second, my present from you, help me grow this community. Share the show with your friends or on your socials. Follow the show so you don't miss out on content. Follow me on socials, TikTok and Instagram at Reframing Me. And on Facebook, it's Reframing Me. And join the Facebook group, Reframing Me, a podcast community. You can email me with questions or issues or ideas that you'd like me to cover in future episodes. It's jen@reframing-me.com. Until next time, be well, communicate, and be ageless.